Hello, good afternoon. My name is Red Krantz, and I apologize because there's no art today. So I didn't draw anything this week, so there's no real art today. So you probably seen like gameplay or something. But that's besides the point. Um, Today's video is about uh disliking things, and that sounds weird. What do you mean this video is about disliking things? What I mean by that is the people disliking things. Well, obviously, that's what I said earlier, but I feel like I need to explain that further. Um, so funny enough, this is another video based on something that Comics Matter said fairly recently. Is that the people who he's criticizing now are they just want to hate things. They don't want anything coming out to be good. They just want to dislike things. They don't want change. They just want everything. They want everything to stay the same so that they can keep disliking things. And to that point, what's the problem with that really? Right? I get that you want to promote creativity and art, right? But there's nothing wrong with people looking at something and say, hey, we all dislike this one thing. Let's all dislike it together. And that's the thing that people like to talk about. Or let people enjoy things. Let people enjoy what they do, but it doesn't account for the fact that some people enjoy disliking things. So then the question then becomes, does your right to want to dislike something trump someone's right to like something? And I don't think that's the case, but then what do you do? Right? Because the ideal scenario is that the people who dislike something, they dislike it and voice their opinions on why they dislike it. And the people who like something voice their reasons on why they like it. And then the people who dislike it just don't engage with the media. People who dislike it find something they do like. But what happens when they can't find something they like and everything that's coming out now is something that they dislike? Then they're just going to keep talking about it, which makes sense to me personally. I'm not particularly one who goes around enjoying disliking things. If I have a problem with it, I like discussing why I have the problem, mostly because I don't like having a problem with something and not knowing why. So I engage with it. I see what's going on with it. I just break it down and see why I dislike things. Is there anything about it that I like? That's the thing I like. I try to find is there anything about this piece of media that I like, right? And I move on from there. But there are people out there who just like, I don't like this thing. Uh, and it's fun. It's fun to not like things. It's fun to dislike things. It's fun to see something that you don't like fail and celebrate it, which I think is fine. I don't think that anybody should be shamed for disliking something and cheering when it fails. Because again, and I always have to come back to this one. Uh, these people have been clamoring for a while for change in the direction that they want to see it in, and no one's giving it to them. So again, why, if you've been burned so many times, right? Why would you go back and look at something and say, well, here are some of its merits? Of course, it would be more advantageous for them to do that, but they're not going to do that because why would they, right? They don't want to support this thing. They don't want to look at or view this thing because it just doesn't make sense to them, right? I feel like I'm not explaining myself properly. But the entire crux of my argument is that just as it is your right to like something, it is somebody else's right to dislike something. And where we tend to agree is how much that their dislike should affect your like. Because it's one thing to say you dislike something and that's it, but it's another thing to say you dislike something and lobby a company to wait. But that's exactly what the leftists did. So I don't see what the problem is here, right? If you guys remember, the big point of the liberals was that gaming and media and whatever needed to be more inclusive. They did not like the things that were being produced because it did not reflect the real world around them. And nobody seemed to have or at least nobody seems to have a problem with saying that when the right and the people on the right are saying basically the exact same thing. We don't like what's going on with media right now. We don't appreciate it, what's going on with media right now. Apparently, when they say it, it's wrong, which is something I cannot stand for. Right? It's something I can't look at and say, yeah, I can get behind this outrage, but this outrage, too far. I think that everybody should be allowed to complain about things if they have a problem with them. Of course, within reason. Nobody needs to call and incite violence or anything of the sort. It just, if you're upset about something, it's better to speak on it than and to outwardly voice why you have a problem with it. And again, I agree to an extent that sometimes it's overblown and sometimes people aren't thinking critically and sometimes it's just better, I'm sorry, to try and create something of your own, trying to be produce something of your own. But that's not always the case, is it? Sometimes it's just easier and a lot more fun to just dislike things. So, to the point of people saying, let people enjoy things, let people not enjoy things. Anyway, that's all for me. Goodbye.